Hello, friends, and welcome to another tabletop adventure from Queen's Court Games. My name is Alex, and tonight I will be your handler as we join our agents in their investigation into Shane Ivey's Extremophilia. Our agents are called out to investigate a mysterious death and find its source. You will be able to find links to the scenario along with all the assorted social media by typing in !scenario as well as !cast if you are watching this live, which is live on Twitch, or in the show notes of YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Tonight, I will be joined by the agents responding to this threat, played by the fantastic cast, beginning with our FBI case officer, Agent Neem, played by Pooja.
Hello, hello.
Next, playing the muscle of the group is Agent Hemlock, played by Killian.
Hi.
And next, our burnt-out med student who didn't sign up for any of this. It's Agent Sage, played by Abbigail.
Hello, hello.
Finally, last but certainly not least, playing our hacker and technical engineer, it's Agent Rosewater, played by QCG's very own Aubrey.
Hello.
And everybody, before we begin, please know that our game tonight that we are playing is Delta Green, and Delta Green is an adult horror game that may contain elements that some viewers may find uncomfortable or objectionable, including blood, gore, body horror, drug and alcohol use, eating disorders, gun violence, medical horror, mind control, and paralysis. Please consult the full list of content warnings by typing in !safety in the chat or taking a look at them in the show notes. The cast and myself have gone through a thorough safety and consent questionnaire. We have discussed these and other topics in our session 0. All of us have agreed to hold ourselves accountable to a code of conduct that will ensure our table remains safe and respectful and make sure that we are good for collaborative storytelling. Now that we have all that taken care of, it's time for our agents to answer their call. We start with a black screen. And as we begin to fade in, we just see a time display that says 02/26/2017, 02/11/16, with the numbers counting up with every second. The sounds we hear are the sounds of rain on a car and windshield wipers that can be heard amidst 70s classic rock and radio traffic. From there, the image starts to resolve and we see the view of a dash cam on a police cruiser. The sound continues as the car makes a turn onto an older-looking road near the mountains. There we can see a humanoid shape start to fill the screen and an audible, "What the fuck?" from the driver of the vehicle. Car gets closer and we can see that the shape starts to form a little bit more and we can see a man who is soaking wet and looks like he has just walked out of an office building. We also hear, "Dispatch, I have a 1066 on Blue Cloud Road. I'm going to check it out." And then we hear a return from the dispatcher of 10-4. From while still looking through the dash cam, we can hear the driver say, "What is this idiot doing out here? This fucker is going to freeze." And then we hear him start to rummage around through the car. And then the door opens and closes, shaking the camera a little bit. We still see the shape of this man who is unmoving as the driver rounds the car, and we can start to see him too. We see him wearing a deputy's coat. It says sheriff on the back. And in his hand, he is unfolding a space blanket. The film isn't great, but we can see that the deputy is speaking to the man. And when he actually steps up to him, even though he's been speaking, he tries to put the space blanket over him, and the man jumps like he has been electrically shocked for some reason. The man does eventually calm down and allow himself to be taken back to the cruiser, which we see them rounding from the right-hand side to the passenger's door in the back seat. We can't see them anymore because we just have the view of the dash cam. But we do hear the conversation between the officer and the man who he's just brought to his vehicle. "Sir, do you have any ID?" Silence. "Sir, I can't And then that is cut off by somebody vomiting violently and the deputy yelling, "Oh, come on, man. What the fuck? Ugh. Listen, sir, I'm going to get the paramedics to help you." And we hear the deputy open the door. And then we hear from a different voice, "Stop." Then walk to the front of the vehicle. We hear the door close, and the deputy comes around to the front of the cruiser, standing like he is frozen in the rain. We hear the voice again. "Nothing is wrong, and I was never here." The figure closes the door and just walks past the deputy into the wilderness beyond, no longer carrying the space blanket. The deputy continues to stand there, frozen, and after about 2 minutes on the video, the deputy turns and walks towards the driver's side of the vehicle. His tone is a little bit different as he opens the door and picks up the receiver, saying, "Dispatch, 1022 on that. Everything's fine." And then the image starts to fade out as we hear the rain and wipers going in the background. The rhythm of the wipers is then carried into a receipt, printing from a drugstore receipt printer. We see the cashier tear the long receipt off and hand it to Agent Neem. Agent Neem, what do we see when we're looking at you? And what have you bought tonight?
You see a average height, kind of average build, maybe a little slighter than normal person, standing at the register with a 6-pack of Corona and a 6-pack of Gatorade. Because it's been a long day and it's gonna be a long night. And the clothes that they're wearing are kind of loose fitting on them, but also could go either way. It's a pair of jeans, a blue button down. If they rolled the sleeves up, it could almost be like one of the guys, but button a couple more buttons up on that collar, and it could be more of a corporate vibe.
It's safe to say that it sounds like Agent Neem is ready for anything, and which will doubly help you as the cashier handing you the receipt says, "Oh, there's a survey on the bottom that you can take. There's like a coupon code." And looking down at the receipt, you see that there's a QR code there.
Okay, well, I guess somebody just walked me through how to use this on my phone. It's like I sling the bag on one arm that's holding the receipt, and it's kind of like this weird, like it's swinging, it hits the receipt, phone out, the QR reader app open. And it takes a couple of tries, but scan the QR code.
Excellent. And after you do scan that, I think it's safe to say that what you see is not a coupon code that you're used to in any way. The number amount that it shows you saving is astronomical, but also isn't really an amount. It's a year. And with this, even though you haven't worked with the program that much, you do know when they are calling you into service. With that activation code also comes the information of where you are to go, as well as all of your flight information. And as we are looking at the digital text from the QR scan, we zoom in a little bit and then zoom back out, and what used to be text on a screen has turned into a online Sudoku puzzle. And we see a few numbers have been filled in. And then we start to back up a little bit further and we see the glow of the LCD screen illuminating Agent Hemlock as she passes the time on base. Agent Hemlock, what do we see with you, and how long have you been on your post tonight?
You see a pretty looking laid back for the office on base, has traded out their suit jacket for a biker vest, ready to leave for the day, but always does the Sudoku before she leaves, just as kind of a wind down before heading back to bunk. She's not quite 30, has long brown hair that's been tied up in a bun. It's a dark office, but she's still got aviators on. It's almost like she's always in them. And she's a little slouched, but it looks unnatural, like she doesn't ever really get that stick up her ass out. But she is dutifully unwinding, doing the Sudoku puzzle, and ready to go home for the day.
Exactly. You know, you've had a hard day of looking like you're busy when your commanding officer comes in and, you know, making sure that everybody is where they're supposed to be, which this is a military base. If they weren't where they're supposed to be, something would be a problem. So your job is kind of redundant, but it's okay. You are doing what you are supposed to do. And as you sit there and start filling in the Sudoku puzzle, the numbers fail, and you notice a code that goes across the top of the puzzle, which the numbers shouldn't be ones that should be able to be entered into there. You do recognize this. You've worked with the program before. You do recognize this activation code. And so you start to tense a little bit at that. Maybe your heart starts to beat a little bit faster. It's never a good thing when they come to call. You're never going out to just, you know, clean up somebody's house or investigate a couple kids that have gone missing or something like that. And then it turns out, hey, they ran away the whole time. It's never like that.
But it always gets me one step closer.
It does. It does indeed. And as we see you starting to get yourself mentally ready for the task ahead, we go back to zooming into the screen, and the characters that are present there start to rearrange themselves into an IT ticket that is being scrolled through. And we zoom out from this ticket and hear the gentle hum of computer fans, as well as the soft sounds of dark wave music playing in the background. And we see Agent Rosewater. Agent Rosewater, what do we see when we see you, and what is this ticket that you're looking at?
You see a girl in her mid-20s with horrible posture. It is a nice, looks to be office, in a nice apartment, but the room itself has been decked out with computer stuff. You see it's probably a daybed in the background, and bookshelves with tabletop games, board games, things like that. And Agent Rosewater herself has kind of sort of slouched in her computer chair. She's got her feet propped up on a different part of her desk. She's wearing leggings and a tank top and sort of a cropped hoodie, and just sort of enjoying a moment before it all comes crashing down. And the ticket itself is... Tickets only come through when people need something and a certain company needs something. They're just kind of a cover. When you're a hacker, you got to have a way to explain what you do to people whom you may not exactly want to explain what it is. So the fact that it is an IT ticket immediately probably just puts me in a bad mood. As I sit up and sort of take a look at it and go over what it says, all sort of in code that I've eventually learned how to read, like, oh, that is the location. Okay, that's my flight details. Okay, there's not much there, but fuck.
You do know how to see into the matrix, basically, and see this code. However, to everybody else looking at this, it is a ticket for a VM that is down, a virtual machine that does not exist.
Yeah.
And you do know that in order to complete this, you do have to hit submit. And I think it's safe to say that you're going to do that.
Yeah.
You haven't turned them down yet, but given how easy it was for them to find you the first time, they're probably going to be able to do it again.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. And I haven't turned them down, and I'm a little scared of what will happen if I ever do.
Well, it's best not to find out unless you become the next mission. And we'll say you do hit that submit button, and we see the ticket start to resolve on the screen. And then we see a notification pop up on a smartphone. And we're just looking at the screen at this point as we can see somebody tap on it to open it up, and it's an online quiz. Tell us your favorite songs and we'll guess your fast food order. And then we start to pan out, seeing Agent Sage begin to tap away on her phone. Agent Sage, what is your favorite fast food order, and how are you looking tonight?
Well, first and most important, Agent Sage's favorite fast food order is a Happy Meal from McDonald's, because the free toy is really cool. And so everyone would see a young woman sitting in her college dorm, and she's got hair that's up in a messy bun that's not hanging on super well in that messy bun. She's got glasses and tan skin, and she's got one of those rubber bands on her left ring finger in place of an engagement ring, and she's just sitting there taking this quiz.
Exactly. You've got everything you need. You've got your promise ring. You know, maybe you've looked at that from time to time and snapped that against your finger thinking, you know, this is what I want. This is what I should want. This is exactly how things are supposed to go. I'm supposed to find the perfect person and then be happy and get married and never have problems ever. But never. But there's some things in your past that might make that a little bit difficult. And one of them comes to fruition here as you finish your quiz, and you don't get your favorite fast food. You get a piece of information that's basically a phone number to call and a quick string of code that you would recognize as the program's activation. So now you are quite new to the program, but they did train you very well on how this process goes. Again, they were responsible somewhat for getting you out of the sticky situation that got you here in the first place. So, you know, it's probably a good idea to help them out.
Yeah, just real quick. I have an exam tomorrow.
Absolutely. And, you know, maybe they'll have you back by tomorrow. I guess they're going to have to go and find out. So as all of our agents get their activation sequence, they get their flight information if there is any, they get all of their accommodations information. They do know that they don't have to talk to any of their employers because all of them have received notices that they will be away. And as we fade out from Abbigail, or from Agent Sage making her call, I think it is time for our first roll of the game to see which of you arrives to that location first. So if everybody would, go ahead and roll me a D100 and go ahead and tell me your results.
22.
35.
69.
Nice. 48.
It does work out because I was going to do the highest number, but the fact that you rolled 69, I mean, that would have been the go first anyway. So, what we see at this point is we camera pan and the picture starts to take shape. We see a sign for Maelstrom Air Force Base. We see the current time as 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, March 17th. We don't see each one of you drive up, but we are going to see you go through the security checkpoints. Everybody knows that you are coming or has been told that you are coming. So there's not really any need to pass through any sort of security checks or anything else like that that would require you to speak with anybody. They know your face. They've been trained to know your face for this. And so, Agent Hemlock, as you open up the door, you see a person sitting at a long conference room table. You see that there is a pot of coffee over in the corner. You have no clue how old that is. Somebody might have gotten that ready for you, maybe, or it could be from yesterday. Who knows? But the first thing I want you to tell me is what is the first thing that you notice about that individual sitting at the table?
As I walk in the room, I'm pinned to the spot by piercing gray eyes that are scrutinizing me.
And it is exactly those gray eyes are they difficult for you to focus on? If you're kind of staring right at them, do you kind of look to the left of their head a little bit or something?
I mean, I look at them for a second and then my eyes shift, but they can't tell with the aviators.
Exactly. It's perfectly fine. Plus, they wouldn't take it as any offense anyway. You're military. You were most likely scanning around, just making sure everything's fine.
Talking my exits, making sure I know where everything is.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And you see the individual look at you and say, Agent Hemlock?
Evening.
Evening. Please have a seat. We'll start when everybody else arrives.
She will take a seat at the very end of the conference table, away from the coffee pot, because the smell is it's not fresh. She can tell.
Plus, it's standard issued coffee, so
It's
probably
mud.
not. It's not the best thing in the world, but it'll keep you awake. That's its purpose.
She reaches into her bag and pulls out a thing of caffeine pills and pops one of them instead.
I mean, that works. Maybe sleeping's been a little bit difficult for you lately.
Lately?
I was being nice. Excellent. So you sit there and you've taken your caffeine pill. You're going to be awake and as alert as possible. And you see the door open. And that's when Agent Sage enters. And Agent Sage, you see Agent Hemlock, who I'll leave it up to you whether or not you two know each other. But first question I will ask here is you see the individual at the head of the table. You see their piercing gray eyes staring at you. But aside from that, what is the thing that you notice the most about this person?
I immediately noticed an impeccable suit that doesn't have a single wrinkle in it.
I like it. What color is that suit?
Gray.
Gray. To go with the eye. Is it the same color as the eyes? This person's sounding like they might be an alien. All right. So you see that impeccable, you know what? Who is this handler wearing? What designer are we talking about here?
Ooh.
How much
Let's
money
see.
do they have?
Just something from Men's Warehouse.
Okay. So off the rack, but it looks good. kind of deal. Okay. I gotcha. And you are looking at this person's fantastic gray suit. Maybe you've stopped in the doorway. The person obviously recognizes you. You are younger, but they knew that already. Agent Sage, I take it?
Yes, that's me.
Excellent. Go ahead and have a seat. We're just waiting for everybody else to arrive. There's refreshments over in the corner. I don't know. I didn't make it.
Okay. She goes and gets a pot of the stale and burnt, or a cup of the very stale and burnt coffee.
Are you going to try and drink it, or are you just going to have it there?
I think she's going to have it for emotional support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. Maybe you have it there to make it look like you have something to keep you busy if there's a point in time where you need to kind of be away for a second. I understand. Well, I think it's probably a good thing that you don't try it. But we'll see. We'll see if the situation that you find yourself in maybe idly makes you drink it to fill the void of silence, and we'll see how that tastes. And as you're sitting there, just playing with your coffee with your hands, the next person that enters is Agent Rosewater. And
Yep.
Agent Rosewater, given your description you told me about before, are you a little bit like manic entering into this room? Are we talking like, are you composed? Or are we talking full bore like Sailor Moon trying to make it to class where you have a piece of toast in your mouth and you're sprinting and all your stuff is falling everywhere?
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's definitely just a little manic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've got a laptop, you've got your phone, you've got your other phone, you've got a notebook, you've got your other notebook, you have your emotional support journal. You're fully ready to go.
And getting onto base, I had to take everything out of the bags because it's all sorts of technology. So I'm trying to get it back in the bags.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely thinking Agent Rosewater is a messenger bag kind of person with a million pins along the strap.
Exactly.
So, okay. And you kind of fumbling your way into the room. You see the two individuals sitting at the table, but at the head of the table, which you can obviously tell that this person seems important, staring at you with their impeccable suit and piercing gray eyes. What is the thing about them that you notice the most?
That, yes, the suit is very, very nice, but like I clock the tiny bit of like lipstick that's on the collar.
Okay. Does it look like it's tried to been rubbed off, or is it kind of there as a badge of honor?
They had tried to rub it off, but they didn't get all of it because it's like on the spot where it kind of like curves a little bit.
Okay.
But I can see it, and it's immediately what I clock.
What color is it? How much of a freak is this person that the handler's been seeing?
Oh, it's deep red. It's
deep red.
Deep red.
Okay. I would be very curious how they found themselves in that situation leading up to your meeting here, but maybe that'll be a story for another time.
Exactly.
And you are starting to put those pieces together in this soap opera story of this government agent and their, lover that is forbidden and everything else like that. And the United States government gets in the way because duty first. And that cuts through as they stare at you and they're like, Agent Rosewater? Maybe
Yes.
They've been talking to you a little bit before. Thank you. Go ahead and sit down. We're just waiting on one more.
I'll sort of stumble my way over to a chair and put the bag down, shove the last few items, and then kind of collapse over the table. No posture, just limp.
Go into the shrimp pose, maybe. Like if you were home, you would have tucked your feet up into your chest or something like that, and sitting on your swivel chair. But these chairs don't swivel. You can't. No. These are U.S. government, steel and plastic. You're not going to get very, very good here as far as your ability to fidget with your chair. Excellent. All right. So as you start to, do you get anything out of your bag when you sit down? Like, are you setting up like one of those dicks at Starbucks who has 8 million things in front of them and takes up like 2 tables that they push together?
No, it's just a notebook and a pen.
Ooh, conservative. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's fine.
I am fidgeting with the pen, though. I am clicking it a little bit, and it's a nice pen, but it's I'm fidgeting a little bit because I have the inability to sit still.
Are we talking nice as in like having money nice, or nice as in like millennial nice? Like you found the pen that you like. Yeah, it's like $5, but you like it. This is a good ass pen, which no shame. I have one of those that I myself love. So
it's the having money nice, but it is not necessarily money that is mine nice.
Of course. It was a gift from one of your grandparents or something, or something of that. Maybe it was a gift from your boyfriend's parents for your birthday. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out that later.
Maybe.
And then we, as you're starting to get everything ready, we see the door open and our final individual steps through. And Agent Neem, you see all the people waiting for you. You're not late, but maybe they follow the rule of if you're on time, you're late, that old adage or something. Doesn't really matter. You are the last one to arrive by the amount of chairs that are present and the fact that the person sitting at the head of the table looks just a slightly bit annoyed.
It's cool because I live by if you're going to be the last one to arrive, you better show up with actual drinkable coffee.
Ooh, how many of those did you have to give to the security officers to get in? Like, was there one of them was like, we're going to have to search this bag unless there is, let's March. They wouldn't have pumpkin spice lattes. Some mocha thing.
It's the Irish cream.
Ooh, all right. Fancy. So maybe you bribed a few to get through. They were unassuming. Or you might have flashed your badge and then they just left you alone. Who knows?
Yeah, that seems so overbearing when I could just have thought ahead and brought a second carrier.
This is true. Well, as you enter into the room, you see that person at the head of the table, their gray suit, their gray eyes, their collar of their shirt tucked a little bit in, a little bit as if they're trying to hide something. And I will ask you 2 questions here. Number 1, not specifically what gender is our handler. Are they masculine? Are they feminine? Are they more of an androgynous person? And what is one thing that you notice the most about them?
I think our handler is presenting more masculine, and that I notice our handler's watch. It's a very nice watch, and it's got a metal band that is not set correctly for their wrist.
Is it one of those that's like
it's
3 links too big or too small?
It's too small. It's like barely latches, and you can see where the flesh of their wrist on either side is like dimpling around it.
Okay, all right. Does this watch look like it's pretty new? Like, does it have some scratches along the crystal of the face or anything like that? Or did somebody get this for them and they never bothered to fix it? Or is it like brand new and they're like, no, I love it. I'll wear it. Don't worry. I'll wear it today.
It looks either like it's perfectly new or it has recently been expertly cleaned.
Okay. All right, excellent. And what is you said before that you were bringing drinks. What drinks did you bring for everybody?
Oh, well, I show up with the venti-sized coffee, and it is the most sugary St. Patty's Day. It's all if you really open it up, it's all green foam in there for some reason. When I got it, they all had shamrocks arted onto
Mhm.
onto the foam, but that's gone.
Yeah, that was like 2 security checkpoints ago. They probably didn't
Exactly.
survive. Yeah, that's okay. It's a thought that counts. And
It's better than what they have over there.
this is true. You are very correct. And you do see the handler kind of soften a little bit when they see your drink carrier. Maybe they try to adjust their watch on their wrist, but that ain't going anywhere. They might actually have to cut that off with a saw or something, but that's an issue for later. That's not your mission. And you see this person turn. You see, Agent Neem, then I presume?
Yes.
Excellent. Go ahead and have a seat, and we'll begin.
Sure thing. Kind of confidently stride over to a seat in the center-ish of the table and start passing out here's a couple coffees for you, here's a couple coffees for me, here is mine. Definitely not my first.
Sure. And we did establish before that Agent Neem has a little bit of experience with the program. Do you recognize anybody that's at this table?
I don't think so. I think that these people are specifically new to me.
Well, that's not that unheard of, at least from the things you've been on with the program, which is much different than your usual line of work where you are used to having the same people and counting on them. You do know the program likes to, they say that they put together the best team possible, but it might just be the people that are the closest. But,
sometimes the people who are the best are the ones who are on the ground already.
Exactly. Yeah. However fast you can get there makes you much better than the person who ain't there at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. And you pass your drinks out. Does anybody take one of the coffees that Agent Neem has brought?
Yes.
Agent Hemlock picks it up and takes a sip and is so overwhelmed by the sugar, makes a very odd face and just pushes it into the center of the table.
Ooh, making a note to actually move it there instead of leaving it in front of you to leave maybe they're happy about it. No, you know for a fact that they're not. That's okay. Agent Sage, are you taking that coffee, or is this your new coffee friend? Or are you still going to keep what's the name of your other coffee cup now that you've been faced with this dilemma of abandoning them?
Gerald.
Gerald. Yeah, Gerald Everyman Coffee. He's, got 2.5 kids. He works hard. He eats steak and potatoes 2 times a week. He tells people that he loves black coffee, but then when he gets it, it's actually disgusting, and he just downs it so he looks tough. He would probably drink the drink that you just received.
I want the new drink.
Yes, exactly. Gerald.
Down. I think Agent Neem winks at Agent Hemlock and slides that coffee right over in front of them.
Ooh.
In front of themselves.
Excellent. All right, now that everybody has their drinks, did you bring one for the handler too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be real awkward if...
of course. The handler actually opens it, and it's like, ooh, the pot of gold surprise. And, they realize what they've just said out loud and kind of shift around a little bit. And they're like, anyway, and they hit a button and the slideshow starts. On the screen is a autopsy report. And the handler turns to all of you, says, so thank you all for coming here so quickly. As you all know, we are working with the program here, and we are going to be taking care of this as quickly and as quietly as possible. So to give you all a rundown of what is going on, recently a deputy with the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office passed away. They are located in Helena, Montana, which is a decent distance away from Great Falls. The individual's name is Fred Jacob. He is, and it clicks to showing him and his fish dating profile, basically. with his pit vipers on. He says, white male, age 37, married, doesn't have kids, has been working for the sheriff's department for about 12 years. He died 6 days ago. The reason why you all are here is because of how he died. And he clicks to show another report. Maybe Agent Sage would recognize the numbers and names and things like that are present here, and you kind of put it together at the same speed that the handler says. Fred Jacob died of heavy metal poisoning, despite not working in any sort of environment that would be present. He had extremely high amounts of cadmium, arsenic, and zinc in his system. It's unusual because as well, the last time Fred Jacobs' coworkers saw him healthy was like 2 days prior. He had no history of anything like this whatsoever. And with the speed and with the amount of heavy metals in this man's system, he would have had to have been working in all of these mines simultaneously for the past 10 years without protection. So what now, I will say this too, because of the matter or the how Fred died, the EPA and the Montana Department of Environmental Quality has been called out on this. Because they are investigating the groundwater and things like that, with the assumption that whatever killed Fred will also harm the people in the area. I will say that, as you all know, you wouldn't have been brought here for something normal. The way that Fred died, we are quite confident is unnatural. And this is where all of you come in. All of you are going to go to Helena, Montana. You are going to find the reports and specimens taken from Fred's body. You are going to destroy those reports and specimens. You are going to find the source of Fred's demise, basically. Now, as you all have probably guessed, we can't just waltz in and do that. The EPA is definitely going to stop us from trying to do anything of any kind like that. The clearance that I have for you all, and he gets out some folders and hands them all to you. You are going to be posing as a specialist team from the FBI's Critical Incident Response Group. For those of you that are unaware, this is a group that is centered out of DC. So you are not from any local offices. Your job with this is basically going to gather enough evidence or reason to put this, basically attribute this to some sort of criminal activity. With that, we will then be able to step in. This is the EPA and the Department of Environmental's domain as far as all of this is concerned. We need to make them think that there is a criminal element present, or some sort of criminal plot behind it. He says there's, in your packets, you will find information about Helena. For those of you that haven't been there before, I have also pinned a group or a list of anti-government white power militia groups that are in the area, which can be used to kind of place blame on. We can attribute these acts to them. Maybe they sabotage something or whatever story we need to come up with, but we do have a good fall, and they ain't gonna appear in court to defend that. They're angry and stupid, so really easy to place the blame on them. And he kind of looks through the information a little bit more. He says, in addition to everything that I've discussed, we are very confident that, as I said, an unnatural element is present. you may have to use deadly force against such things. You may find yourself in a situation where deadly force is required as well, because we need to minimize human exposure to this, and people who have been exposed are exhibiting very strange signs, some of which are leading to violent outbursts. So you need to limit your own exposure as much as possible, but also limit other people's exposure. You see him just clicking through the slides. He says, you will be provided one vehicle. There is, it should be enough space for all of you. The local FBI office does not know that you are coming, nor should they. You do not want to involve them at all. The clearance and everything that I have given you will hold up to most people looking at it. But if somebody really knows how to scrutinize it, it's not gonna. And the program can help you, but if you are found out and arrested, that might be a little bit more difficult. Plus, it makes our overall mission much, much harder. So please don't piss anybody off who has the ability to actually look into your credentials a whole lot. As I said, you'll be able to flash FBI badges, and that'll get you through a lot. But when push comes to shove, if you run into somebody who knows what they're talking about, who has the gumption to actually look, it could be a problem. And he's looking over all of you. He says, do you all have any questions then before we continue?
Do we have any weaponry on the ground that will be provided, or are we picking it up along the way?
The individual turns and says, yes, you will be provided with standard issue FBI service pistols. Again, you are going in as FBI officers. It's just a standard 9mm pistol. So if you require something heavier, if it's something that I can get you from here on base, I will try. I can't get you something absolutely fucking ridiculous, but I can get you carbines or shotguns or something like that. What I would actually recommend to do, because if I do that, there's going to be somewhat of a paper trail, which requires me to clean that up. Plus, there's the possibility of them being found out in the field, which they're not supposed to leave the base, which creates problems. Again, I can give them to you, but you need to take care of them.
I'll just radio the militia groups. It's fine.
Yeah. And that's when he's like, yeah, that was actually going to be the second part of what I suggested before about them being stupid and you having FBI clearance. We know that they have some heavy firepower. Go and arrest a couple of them and steal their stuff or something, or tell them that if they give you their guns, you'll let them off or whatever. Doesn't really matter. You have a badge that looks scary. They might try and fight you on it, or they might be complete cowards and just hand over their guns. But I would say if you are going to do something that requires deadly force against things that can have autopsy reports and can have ballistic reports and things like that, probably shouldn't come from a gun that's from here.
Noted, and will acquire.
Good. He says, in addition to the firearms, you will also find a couple hazmat suits. There's some medical kits present. There is a couple cases of water. We don't know where Fred acquired this illness. I would recommend that you stick to the bottled water till we find out a little bit more. He just kind of looks over at all of you. Anybody else have any questions before we get the last of this done?
Who's the lead on the ground from the EPA?
Yes. So you see him kind of shuffling through his information here. Yes, your contact on the ground is, there's going to be an Alicia Smith who works with the EPA. We do think that you could probably get Alicia to be a little bit more flexible on our suggesting that there's a criminal element to this. and maybe give you a little bit more of a green light on things. There are also some members of the sheriff's department that would probably help out as well. There is a Sergeant Uriah Weiss that we think could also help in the sheriff's department if we need it. There is also a drop point available to you all. It's going to contain stuff from other missions and things like that. He says that he shows you basically on the map, which is also in your booklets. He says, if you want to go there, I do suggest you bring a metal detector. Perfect. So does anybody else have any questions before we wrap everything up here?
Agent Rosewater looks like she wants to ask something and then thinks better of it.
I mean, now's the time. It's up to you, though.
Do we know if there's any digital footprint of this information? Because I can get rid of that very easily.
As of right now, everything that is present, we already have under control. The problem is going to be the physical elements that are present. Again, we don't want the FBI office that is in Montana or the regional office in Utah to take notice of any of this, because there are other elements that would do differently with what we have found. As far as that is concerned, it is contained for now. You were called out, Agent Rosewater, because we do think that there are going to be a number of scenarios that arise that somebody who's technologically savvy will be required. In addition to finding all of this, we do have to find all of this information before we can purge it. So that's why you're here.
Got my work cut out for me.
Yeah, they don't respond to that. The handler just gives you all a quick look over and says, in your bags, you'll also find some burner phones. They have my number programmed into them. If you need to call me from that number. Do not use your normal cell phones. Also, if you need to make any calls that are about this operation, if it's something that is going to be confidential information, especially information that we need to get rid of, you need to just tell me that we need to meet in person. It's not something I want to discuss over a phone.
Understood.
Excellent. And he stands up and says, all right, everybody, you do have the next 10 minutes or so before you need to head out to the motor pool and get to your vehicle and get on your way. Again, if you need me, just call me. And you see the handler stand up, adjust their watch that doesn't move, kind of move their coat a little bit, and walk out of the room. And leaves all of you sitting there in silence. Or at least for the moment. Or
look around at everyone else and be like, is this anyone's first rodeo?
Yeah. And Agent Sage just takes a long sip of the coffee and is just looking at the table.
It'll be rough at first, but we got your back.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
Just make sure you keep somebody between you and, the scary thing at all times. You'll be fine.
What I've learned.
I have
I
brought
don't
enough
do-
back. You all can hide back there.
Yeah, I don't do the fighting.
bold of you to assume that you will be fighting, but that's okay. And here's what I will say for you, Agent Sage. This is your first mission. You are the medical know-how of our team. And as you look through the documents that are present inside of this booklet, it starts to make more sense, the level of danger that you are going to be in. Because if this element was present and able to kill this man that quickly with that type of that level of metal poisoning, heavy metal poisoning, you know that's not a good way to go. And as you're thinking about that and thinking about the perfect life that you have outside of this, or one that you tell yourself is perfect, I am going to have you make a stability roll. And for our audience, you are going to hear me call for stability rolls, as well as stability damage, things like that. That is the term that we are using instead of sanity. Stability is a nicer term, basically, to something that is just mental hit points. So again, when you hear stability, that is the stat that we are using. Agent Sage, please go ahead and make your stability roll.
All right. That is barely a success.
Perfect. So you don't lose any, which is good. But as you're looking through these numbers and the elements that will be present here, I want you to think back to the first time that you ever got a communicable disease. How old were you when that happened?
I think the earliest that she remembers would be around 6 years old, just a couple weeks into kindergarten, and she caught the flu from a classmate, and it was just running rampant throughout the class.
And that's really the feeling that you kind of takes hold of this at the time sickness that you didn't have any idea where this came from. You thought that maybe you thought you'd done something wrong, or maybe you thought that you had exposed yourself to something that you weren't supposed to. And as that sickness took hold in your body and made you feel so weak and helpless, that's kind of the feeling that's setting in as you're looking at this and realizing how much danger you're actually in. But for everybody else who doesn't have any medical training, you have no idea. Yeah, dude got heavy metal poisoning. That sucks. Maybe you know how that kills you. Maybe you don't. Whatever. You got hazmat suits. It's fine.
Exactly.
Disregard Agent Sage looking like they're having a crisis in the moment.
I mean, first mission, what are you going to do? I'm still wondering, like, I know they say it's spooky, blah, 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 destroy the evidence. Like, is it possible the wife just poisoned him?
Don't think we
No.
would have been called in if that were the case.
It's an astronomical amount of metal in the system. More than anything, more than any poisoning could do. At least known poisoning.
I'm a partial to pinning it on our friendly local white militia.
We walk in, we get some guns, we get maybe some grenades, and we get to put some bad guys away for something they didn't do because they obviously would have done something else.
I'll let you all do the talking and the planting and the acquiring of weapons, and whenever you all need me, you just let me know, okay?
You're all going to be okay. It'll be fine.
Under her breath, Agent Hemlock says, "We might need a baby seat in the back."
Well, I think that's a excellent time for all of you to head out towards your vehicle. And as you do, which one of you is going to be our driver?
Yeah.
Agent Hemlock? You're going to be our driver?
Absolutely. I'm prepared for this.
Okay.
Agent Neem calls shotgun.
Well, I'll let the two of you decide then. What kind of car is this? Like,
It's
what have
probably
they
like
given you?
not an actual military vehicle, but it's still like a Humvee Range Rover kind of style. Gives us plenty of room if we do need to stock up on anything and
It's that
go off road if we need to.
large
Okay.
black SUV standard.
Mhm. Mhm. So maybe a
Chrysler,
little bit.
whatever.
Yeah. Maybe
It looks
they.
like it could be government, but definitely not military.
Are we talking a lifted SUV? Is that what we're talking about here?
I mean, it's, maybe got a little bit of a lift on it, but that's just the extra shocks for the off-roading.
Yeah, I was going to say you would blend in well with the locals. If that was the case, they'd see you rolling down the street and be like, God knows where he's going. All right, excellent. So you all are going to pile into your vehicle, and it's 2017. So let's say you punch your location into the GPS, but I will ask you all, where would you like to go first? The handler did say that you need to get to Helena, which is a little bit of a drive. Now you could just go straight there. There is also a drop location that is, you have the coordinates for, that you could punch into your GPS. It is a little bit towards the evening, around 5 o'clock. So when you actually get to Helena, you've got a little bit of a drive to get there. It'll probably be pretty late in the evening, but it's a sheriff's department. Somebody's always going to be there.
I don't know about y'all, but I think we should hit up the sheriff's department first and the green box when we know more what we're dealing with.
I mean, we also need to get a metal detector apparently for that thing.
Yeah,
and that would be another stunt. And
I bet you that the militia has that as well.
they probably do, but I don't.
You can also just go to Walmart.
Yeah, I mean that's also an option, but I don't want to.
That's also a paper trail.
You can also get guns from Walmart, especially if you pay with cash.
Oh God, in Montana, so easily.
Mm-hmm.
But then also we're using a metal detector when it's getting dark to find this green box, and
Yeah, and you'll kind of know as you look on Google Earth, Agent Rosewater, that the location of that drop, the green box, it's right next to somebody's house, and then about 100 feet into the woods.
Lovely.
So, yeah, you're definitely somebody will notice. I mean, somebody's going to notice no matter what. I guess it just depends on how much it sucks to walk through the woods at night versus during the day. But I mean, you can do it.
And also how likely they are to notice and come out shooting versus notice and come out investigating.
That's true. Well, it depends on how bored they are.
Yeah,
Diversionary
that is
tactics are always helpful if they're home.
Yeah, that's a thing maybe for the morning. Sheriff's department sounds good. Somebody just gets me to an Ethernet port in the sheriff's department. I can do my work.
What I will call for all of you to do now is go ahead and give me a dexterity test, please.
Oh yeah, I got a 19 under a 75.
Nice.
37 under my 50, so that works.
Perfect.
41 is under my 50.
Okay.
93 is not under my 65.
Sorry, Agent Sage, but Agent Hemlock, being that you succeeded and rolled the highest, guess what? You get to pick what the music is on this drive. So the aux cable is there. What are we listening to as we pull away?
Driver's
from
picking the tunes. We're gonna go classic Led Zeppelin, some Metallica, something that gets the blood thumping, but
exactly. Well, maybe it gets the blood thumping for you. I think Agent Sage and Agent Rosewater are starting to be put to sleep by this grandpa rock that you've got blasting in the front as you
look. I have my own pair of headphones that are in this bag. They're very nice.
The earbuds in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing work in the back. I'll be researching and then sending messages to Simon probably about how boring this job is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you start to do definitely when Kiss comes on, the second song, you're like, okay, I'm done. And then you put your headphones in. Is it too loud for anybody to talk, Agent Hemlock? Are you one of those people that turns the music up loud?
It is absolutely too loud to talk. Unless we need to plan anything, I don't want to hear other voices.
That sounds like a sensory nightmare. All right. So you all pull away and you start off on your trip to Helena. And what I will say is, at this point, because our agents have a bit of a drive ahead of them, I think that this is an excellent time for us to take our break. So, everyone, we are going to take a short break. For all of you, this will be very seamless, but we will be back shortly. See you soon. Hello, friends, and welcome back. We are back from our break, and we are ready to step back into our road trip through Montana. And all of our agents are on their way to Helena to begin their investigation and hopefully get all of this done quickly. But got it. As I said, there's a little bit of drive ahead of them. Agent Hemlock, you're the one driving, so this question won't really apply to you. But Agent Neem, are you a good passenger who keeps the driver awake, or did you pass out?
Yeah, I laid my seat back. I stuck my feet up on the dash and
Agent
passed
Neem.
right out.
Agent Neem, the passenger princess. Perfect. Okay. Is anybody Agent Neem, we'll start this with you then. So as we are driving here, you are being lulled to sleep by the gentle wipe of the windshield wipers and the gentle rain. You manage to isolate the music in your head so that it can be silenced so that you can actually sleep. And so you drift off into your dream. And I don't know if you dream normally, but you certainly do this evening. And what you see when you are entering into your dream realm is you wake up in a small, it looks like an office building almost. Looking around, you see just empty walls, some carpet that would look like it wouldn't be able to be stained. And you can see that there are windows as well as a door at the far end of the room in your dream realm. Can't see out of them, but there is a door there.
Gonna walk to that door.
Sure. As you push it open, you step back into your investigation into the terrorist cell, the one that led you to eventually being involved with the program. You see the aftermath of that raid all around you. And you see people milling about, but they don't interact with you, almost like you're an observer. You do see people that you've worked with. And as you start to look around on the ground, there are more bodies than you remember. What are some of the people that are laying there, and how are they significant to you?
The first body I see that this isn't right, is actually the leader of Josiah's cult, who we brought in peacefully in the real world, but has his throat ripped out here. It's like, this isn't right. And I look to the left and I see my Ishamasi laying face down in a pool of her own blood. This isn't right. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. And I run over to her to turn her over.
And as you do turn her over, it's not who you're expecting. It's a face you don't recognize. It's a woman about middle age. She has these strange, they look like boils in her face, but they're almost luminescent.
I'm going to drop the body and stagger back.
And as you do that, the mouth starts to move, and you hear kind of being croaked from this body that's most certainly dead. In the mines. Just in the back of your mind. And you didn't see their lips move. And then you are woken abruptly in your dream by the sound of a gunshot. And when you awake, I would like you to please make a stability test.
Okay. And that is a flat 40. My current
Probably
stability is 60. So yes, I am okay.
Perfect. So you won't lose any from your nightmare. But I will say that this wasn't a usual one for you. And Agent Hemlock, you probably don't notice because we've established that Agent Neem is lounged to the most possible degree of comfort. Who's sitting behind Agent Neem that Agent Neem is just kind of reclined into their lap?
It is
Agent
definitely
Sage.
Agent Sage, and she doesn't say a word about it.
Exactly. You're non-confrontational. You don't want to get involved that, but you do find it a little bit odd when Agent Neem just like starts awake. You're not really sure why, but they did definitely react quickly. Meanwhile,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, totes, internal alarm. Can't let those power naps go too long or you get groggy.
Perfect. And it's good that you did have your internal alarm, because through the dark with the stabbing headlights ahead of you, you see the sign of "Welcome to Helena" population, and that's gone. Just the "Welcome to Helena" sign. You can see the lights from the city below. Can't really see the terrain outside of it, but I will say the view that you have as you're nearing is this one little island of light and civilization surrounded by just this pitch darkness. So you have now reached the town. Agent Hemlock, are we going to the sheriff's office or where are we going?
Yep, pulling straight up to the sheriff's office. Park, go in.
Sure. So you pull up to the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Department. Now, as far as the city goes, it's not very big. They don't really have they do have a police department, a municipal police department. But the sheriff's department is the one who mainly kind of oversees most of the area, because the Lewis and Clark County is massive. So there are beat cops for Helena, but that's not who you're dealing with. You would be dealing with the Lewis and Clark County because this happened outside of the city, but still within their jurisdiction. So you pull up and the building is, I'm sure you all have seen these before, the government looking post office style buildings with the one side of the building is all windows and the red brick, the, Sears catalog finish to it. They all kind of look the same. Can't really see that well inside. You do see that there are lights, not nearly as many as you would see during the daytime. There's not a whole lot of people milling about. But there are lights on. It is a 24/7 operation. So, are you all going to, you are still sitting in the car in the rain. So if you want to do anything before, now is your time, or you all can decide whatever you like.
Rosewater, you might want to make sure all your electronics are covered. That rain's coming down pretty good.
Got the bag for a reason.
And Hemlock will get out of the car and head up to the door.
Neem follows, pausing in the rain just long enough to get that artistically wet.
Yeah, the noir film style, like hair's a little bit beaten down to your face, but not so bad that you're soaked from head to bone where your clothes are clinging to you.
Exactly.
That does raise the question for you all. You all were given FBI badges, which I assume you have with you, unless any of you did not take them for some reason. It's March. It's a little bit cold. So you would have been given FBI raid jackets. Though those, for people that don't know, the raid jackets are basically, if you've seen in the news with government officials or police or anything else, they wear these kind of like windbreakery looking things. Sometimes they're a little bit thick on the cold weather, and it clearly says what they are on the back. That's purely just so you can identify them, but that's what they've given you. If you would like to wear the raid jacket, you can. It would kind of scream in the face of whoever's sitting there that you're FBI. That's entirely up to all of you as far as what your attire is.
No matter if I put on that, I just look like I am cosplaying. It does not fit with the rest of the look.
It doesn't fit you either. They're all kind of one size. They have
like
this, yeah.
Hemlock leaves hers in the car, but puts the badge on her belt. Make sure she's got the actual clip ready, but still just in the leather vest walking in.
Sure.
Neem is doing I've got the little chain.
Mm-hmm.
So the badge goes around my neck.
Okay.
But no jacket. That's just only rookies wear the jackets.
Yeah, I'm gonna there's a spot on the front of the messenger bag. That's where I'm going to put the badge for now, because I don't have any pockets, because this was 2017 before someone went, you know what, leggings should have pockets.
Excellent.
Agent Sage opts for her sweatshirt, but she has a lanyard like every college student has, but she does wear it unironically, and she has the badge on her lanyard.
How oversized is Agent Sage's hoodie? Are you like swimming in this thing where the sleeves kind of go past your hands? Because I love the idea of this tiny little agent walking in with this FBI, fuck off FBI badge, and they're like, pastel sweatshirts over it.
Yeah, she's in this like blush pink sweatshirt that is definitely oversized on purpose, because that's what's in, and so it's definitely way too big. She got it at one of the student markets while someone was selling secondhand clothing.
That's fine. These people probably haven't seen your particular department before. Like, they might have run into FBI agents. They certainly haven't run into FBI agents from DC. So you can kind of go with your critical incident response group, fuck off power. All right, so. Okay. So you all step into the sheriff's department, or the sheriff's office. What you immediately take in is the smell, I think would be the first thing you get, which is that musty old carpet smell and building that's been there for who knows how long. Maybe it gets cleaned once a month. A little bit of stale air to it. You kind of know what I'm talking about. And as you look around in the sheriff's office, you do see that there is a desk near the front where somebody should receive you. Nobody's there at the moment. There's a little bell that you could ring. Nobody else seems to be around, at least in this room. You can see some desks that normally would be occupied, but in this particular scenario, there are not. So you have the freedom to do whatever you would like in the sheriff's office here.
Agent Hemlock will walk up and ring the bell on the desk, but then go and find a piece of wall to kind of lean up against and hold up and
to look tough.
You're wasting my time.
Mm-hmm, exactly. That's definitely some conversational power when you call for them and then make sure you go over to look like you've been waiting for 2 hours. I can completely understand. So you ring that bell. You do hear kind of from the back. You're guessing maybe there's a break room or something back there. Yeah, just a second. And you see a man who looks to be about in his 30s. He is carrying a styrofoam cup. It is a bit cold, so you can see that there's a little bit of steam coming off of it. The man gets a little bit closer to you. He is wearing a sheriff's department, like a standard uniform. He's got the star and everything else like that, so it's clear that he is some type of officer. Can I help you? As he reaches the desk.
Hi. We're here from the FBI Critical Response Unit.
And
They must have called ahead and told you they were coming?
The person standing there kind of panics a little bit at the fact that there is a government or a federal official in front of them. No, ma'am, I'm sorry. They didn't, jeez. And he kind of, you see him trying to adjust his uniform, even though it's fine, and set down his coffee cup. He says, Under Sheriff Jason Pullman. Sorry.
Oh, Pullman. Such a good name. Doesn't that just, brings back all the memories. Well, you know how it is. Like, sometimes the higher-ups don't necessarily pass down all the information, I guess. But, you know, we just need the usual. We just need a place to set up, access to computers, files.
You see him panic. It's very clear that he's probably the only person in here. And he says, okay, well, why are you all here? Like, I have no problem setting it up for you and everything, but listen, the sheriff's out right now. He's off working with the EPA, I think, but he'll be in tomorrow if you guys need to talk to him.
Yeah, that'll be great. And in the meantime, you know, we're here because you have a dead body and some extremely suspicious circumstances.
He says, this is with is this with the deputy's case?
It is. And it might link into some other cases that we have been looking into.
You can see that Jason does get a bit sad at the mention of why can I not remember his name? Fred, thank you. You see that he does get a bit sad at the mention of Fred's passing. Maybe they were friends. It's kind of hard to read too much into it, but you, given your line of work, Agent Neem, you can visibly tell a slight tinge of sorrow to it. Okay, that's fine. Are you guys from the Montana office, or where are you guys from?
No, they sent us all the way from DC. That's been quite the hike today, I gotta say.
The guy is much more panicked at that. Not that he's going to act differently, but definitely like he might have dealt with local FBI at some point. They do have local offices of individuals, but they also have bigger groups that are located out of DC, which you are impersonating one of them.
Agent Hemlock is going to walk over and like put a hand on his shoulder. She's about 5'10", so she doesn't got to lift her hand up too far, and just be like, I'm sorry for your loss. And then walks past him towards the back. Where can we set up?
I mean, he ain't going to stop you. You're federal agents, which you all are wearing your badges visibly, right? Okay. So I will say that our Jason here is not going to question any of you because you're wearing badges. You must be from where you say you're from. And besides, he'll let the sheriff deal with all that when he's awake tomorrow or back or wherever he is. He says, yeah, there's a room I can set you all up in. And he goes and flicks on a light. And the room that you said you walked to the back, right, Agent Hemlock? The room that you see has a pretty solid looking wood table. It's probably particle board with like a thing over the top of it, but it looks fancy-ish. Then along the walls are just boxes of files. There's also old computers, not hard drives, the whole fucking computer, because they probably wouldn't have taken the time to, if they had a computer that was no longer in use because of the way that law enforcement does things, they can't just get rid of it. It's not allowed. So if they're not going to take the hard drives out, they just keep the whole damn thing. And so that's what you see is stacks of boxes and old computers. There's some gateways in there, all sorts of stuff. It's a storage room, but it does have a table and some chairs that are in various states of, they look like they might have been comfortable at some point.
Agent Hemlock does have the FBI raid jacket with her and kind of spreads it out on a chair and then gestures to Agent Rosewater. Go ahead, and it's better to have a seat now.
Oh, yeah. Sit down and I guess, look, I'll pull out my computer
Sure.
and sort of start working. I want to see how their security is probably not great, so it probably won't take me that long to get in, and it's very much my computer. It's got stickers and stuff all over it.
So as you do get that out, I will say that the Jason who is speaking with you clearly is not a computer individual. He says, if you need to be set up with access to anything, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. That's when, what's his name? Terry will be in. He's our computer guy. He can set you up with access to what you need.
All right, good to know. I say as I'm sort of typing away on the thing.
Sure. I will say he says that, but are you actually going to try and make it through to see what's going on? Okay. Before we do that, we'll ask everybody else. So we've got Agent Hemlock and Agent Rosewater in the room. Agent Neem, Agent Sage, are you two following, or are you going to waltz around the office, or what are you thinking of doing?
My plan is to distract Pullman.
Sure.
So that we can get some actual real work done.
Okay.
So I'm going to lead him away. Where's the vending machine?
Sure.
Can't believe what they feed you on these flights. The usual
Okay. Are you actually going to try and be a bit appealing to him to get him to sort of talk to you a little bit more, but not about anything important?
Friendly, establish camaraderie. Man, it must suck. You're going through a lot. You have to man the station alone during such a hard time. And try to find out also, if there's any inter-office gossip politics that might have some bearing on whether or not we can... Let's find those pivot points. Fulcrums?
Sure.
Fulcrums.
I will say that he normally, under these circumstances, even though you are from the government, government Manson from the government, he's not supposed to let you out of sight because it's just standard practice. You're not supposed to do that. So you're going to kind of have to persuade him to get to go somewhere else. Normally there would be more people at night, but given the fact that the EPA is there, probably majority of them are out dealing with that. So he's just kind of by himself. So yeah, go ahead and give me a persuade roll. And let's see how well you actually distract him.
36 under my 60.
Okay. So with the success, I will say you can pull him away. He's going to stay in the area. He won't be able to see what you all are doing in the room, and he's gonna get a little bit uppity if you try to close the door to the office that you're in. But he's still in the area. If you've ever seen the type of building I'm talking about, the desks are all open air in the same area, like in a big bullpen, basically, and then there's just side rooms, so you can kind of see everything from the same area. To actually get him to go into like the break room would have needed like a critical success. So he'll stay in the area and he'll talk to you, but he's still going to be in the area, basically.
Which is fine. I mean, distracted and still around is good enough for now.
Sure. And before we get into what the two of you are talking about, Agent Sage, what are you going to do?
I don't think that Agent Sage fully understands what they're doing here, but she's going to follow Agent Rosewater and Hemlock into the room. Mm-hmm. And she's just going to kind of stand there and watch to see if she gets any orders from anyone. But that's
sure. All. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. What is the question that you were asking, Jason, Agent Neem? You were asking about inter-office politics or something like that?
Yeah, just, the usual, and then segue into, like, oh, it must have been so hard for all y'all.
Sure.
Like, how's the sheriff handling it? Has it been a really big, like, must have been a big to-do with them trying to figure out who did this? You'll have,
he says,
groups out there.
He says, yeah. Well, I mean, it is a bit weird, I will say that, and we got some people that we're talking to about it, and like we said before, the EPA is out here, and we got to kind of help them out with stuff too. They've been overall pretty okay. They got this what's her name? Agent Alicia Smith, I think is her name. Is working with them. She's been real helpful with everything, and she's kind of been. You'll probably talk to her tomorrow if you're going to go see the sheriff, or rather, he'll obviously come here because he's got to give you all the stuff. Yeah, everything around here has been fine. I mean, you'll meet. I will say this, you're probably going to meet our patrol captain at some point. His name's Chris Colbert. He's ugly son of a bitch. He's an asshole. I would recommend, maybe not being too buddy with him. He kind of fucks people over. And you're getting
that's real good to know.
You're getting the tea as he's sitting there and talking to you about these people. You have no fucking idea who they are. You're going to meet them, which is going to be real awkward for you that you've had Jason's voice in your ear about how much of a dick they are. Like, man, this one time fucking Eric came up and he ate all my dinner. Sure.
Agent Hemlock would like to look around, since there's the old files in here, in all these filing cabinets, see if she can't locate anything on the local militias.
Sure. So if you start taking covers off of the boxes, I will tell you that Jason will notice that, just as a little bit of a warning. If you don't care, that's fine, but he'll hear.
I just want to see if I can find anything on it so I can note where it's at in case I get the chance.
Okay. So here's what I am going to want you to do for something like that. And Agent Neem, as I said, you're getting all the inter-office politics. That's all great. Agent Hemlock, I want you are going to give me 2 different roles. Your first one is going to be a stealth roll, please.
That is a 52 under my 60.
Okay. So here's the thing. Because you have it at a 60, you were going to succeed anyway. I wanted to make you roll it because I want to see how well you succeed and how quiet you are, because you might be real quiet at taking that off, but maybe you're not too stealthy and maybe you left the lid somewhere that's visible. You do manage to open it. Looking through these files, you might as well be looking for a needle in a haystack. You find a whole bunch of bullshit about stuff from 1997, which is probably not that helpful. Agent Rosewater is probably going to have an easier time finding stuff. I will say this, given the location of these files and how they are, usually these things are digitized by this point. These ones probably are waiting to be digitized, would be my guess. So you're just going to find a whole lot of stuff about nothing, basically, as far as your investigation is concerned. But that's okay. It's worth a look. And Agent
She's going to curse under her breath in Pashto and just move off and hold up another wall.
Sure. That's fine. So Agent Rosewater, you are really the one here who is going to make or break as far as your ability to do this. All right. So I will say this. The people here are from Montana and might not know that much about computers for the most part. But Terry, their IT guy, knows at least a little bit. You find... so what are you trying to do? Tell me what you're trying to do.
I am trying to get into their system, and the thing I'm trying to do right now is set up a back door into their system, so that at a later point, because especially like if we want to make sure everything is gone, because I don't want to make it disappear now. Super suspicious if it disappears now. But when we're ready to leave and everything, I could just go back in and boop, delete everything. And setting up that back door and all of that stuff, and sort of also pulling information on any of those, like, the militias or whatever, anything I think is probably useful that, we didn't get before.
Okay. So I will say this. We are playing in a realistic scenario. If you're just trying to Wi-Fi your way into this thing, you're not going to find an open network that is going to broadcast critical information. You'll find a guest network that has a password, but with it being a guest network, you ain't going to get through it. That's not how they're set up. You basically hit a wall.
There's no spot to connect an Ethernet cable in here.
Well, that's what I was going to get into, is while their network is set up the way it should be, and even if you did make it in, they would be told of an intrusion, and then it would just be a matter of seconds of finding out what the name of the device is, what the source of it is, because even if you cover all your trails, there's still going to be a sign of breaking and entering. So, but one thing you can do is plug into an Ethernet jack, because who knows if they actually set these up with the proper protocols. Probably not, especially not in some stupid ass room in the back.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and have you roll a search, please.
38 under 40.
Okay. So you do find a jack. Hooking up to it, you do see that it sets itself up as an internal network. I will say this. What is your goal now? Are you going to try and get into systems? Because you're there, which isn't going to raise a flag, because I'm not going to get into the technical stuff of why they probably don't have it set up the way they should. But we'll just say that they don't have it set up exactly the way that they should, because they have no concern of anybody coming in and doing this. There's always people around. Yeah. Especially not from you. So
exactly.
You want to get into files, right?
Oh, it was one of the ideas, yeah.
Okay. Here is what you are going to do for me. You are going to roll a computer science check, and this will determine how deep into that system you can get, whether or not you leave a trail, and what you get. So go ahead and roll that for me, please.
My brain was like, which? That is a 19 under an 80.
Okay. So you do gain access. You gain access to the top level folders, which basically means stuff that lives on servers but isn't necessarily behind a restricted wall, because you are not a domain user, which basically means you haven't been set up on their network, so you can't go that deep in without having the ability to do so. If you tried to break in, that would most certainly start to throw a million red flags from their system. But if you're just trying to get to top level stuff, which is what you get to do here, what you find is people have put files there stupidly. Most of them are not that important looking through them. But you do find a video file, which is, for whatever fucking reason, is on their Teams. So instead of being in a secure system, they've decided to upload this video to their chat program, which you gain access to now. Would you like to view it? You don't know the context of why it was uploaded. You don't know what it is. You just got a video. You can see the upload date was yesterday.
Yeah.
The last modified date.
Yeah, this modified date yesterday. And it's to a point where like if I see this in the video file, look over at Hemlock and just kind of like might have something.
Hemlock will like go over and kind of lean over Rosewater's shoulder to see, and seeing that it's yesterday, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's hope it's not somebody's porn.
Maybe it is. Agent Sage, are you going to go over there and watch too?
No, she plugs her ears just in case.
Smart. Agent Neem, you are still distracting Jason pretty well. You do see everybody else kind of crowding around each other, because this room is not like that. It's windows. It's not that well hidden as far as what everybody's doing. So you're going to need to distract Jason again, because Jason will notice everybody crowding around Agent Rosewater. So go ahead and give me a persuasion roll again, please.
Can I also make a copy of this video while I'm doing this?
Let's assume that you would.
Yeah.
It would get even, you would have to, it'd get even hairier if you played it from its source. Agent Neem?
These dice love me today, and I'm sure that will not come back to bite me later. But I rolled a 3.
Beautiful. So you do succeed in keeping. You do notice that Jason starts to see movement out of the corner of his eye, but maybe you snap him back to get some more of that juicy information about why Chris is an asshole or something, or like, then what did he do, sort of thing.
It's like, and he's sleeping with whose wife?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has no proof of that whatsoever, but he's certainly going to put that rumor around to, fuck people over. Yeah, that's definitely a thing that he's going to do. He's like, yeah, and I heard Terry, he knows all that stuff about the computers and stuff. I heard he's got one of those, what is that? Like a Tumblr or something? I heard about that. They like upload all sorts of weird pornographic material to it and stuff. I don't know. I don't touch any of that.
Of course not. You're a good, upstanding, moral citizen, I'm sure.
Exactly. Give me a good magazine any day. I ain't gonna mess around with that computer stuff. You tell that if for a moment he realizes that he is speaking to somebody that he feels he should be a little bit more polite to. He's like, no, sorry, literature. I like to read Reader's Digest.
Of course. It's all about the articles.
Mm-hmm. It is, yes. The articles are very expensive. And the two of you are going off and just talking about this, and he's starting to become a little bit more comfortable with you. So Agent Rosewater, you start playing this. It does have audio.
I'll have my audio like really, really like either low or off to start. Mm-hmm. And then if it looks like it's super important, like pull a pair of earbuds out, plug them in.
Okay. It's a dash cam video. You see in the corner of the screen the time date display. For those of you that listened during our little opening, the thing that comes back on that you see on your screen is 02262017 021005. And you are watching a dash cam as a car drives in the rain. With your little bit of hearing, you can get that there's music or something in the background. You can hear some radio chatter. And then what you see is this car pull up to a individual who it's, you can't really see their face all that well. It's a dash cam video. You see somebody from the sheriff's department go up to this person to try and offer to help them. You do hear the audible sounds of somebody vomiting. And then for whatever reason, the deputy walks back to the front. And when he does, you can see more clearly that this is the man that has passed away. And then you see that same individual from earlier walking off into the distance. And then after a moment, the deputy gets back in the vehicle and then starts to drive. And if you keep watching, you can see that they're heading back onto a main road, and then the video cuts out. Mm-hmm. So it seems like it's just been cut for this period.
And he said where he was in the thing, right? Like where he was found, this person?
Correct. Yes. He said that he was he was on Blue Cloud Road.
Mm-hmm.
So you could find that if you want to, but yeah, that's what
it is a thing. But like, I'll have like a notebook that's like right next to me, and in it, I will write Blue Cloud Road, and then I will tap it twice with the pen.
Mm-hmm.
To sort of just be like, this is something we should check out without saying it out loud.
Is there anything noticeably off outside of whatever lack of clothing this individual has that points to something that we deal with and why we're here?
If you're asking if they're like a monster, they're not.
No. Like if there's any like subtle clue that
gotcha.
Possibly we had seen before because we've dealt with these kinds of things before.
No. This person looks like they just walked straight out of an office building and into the rain. They're even still wearing their normal dress shoes that they would wear. You can see that they have a little badge or something. But it's not apparent as to where that's from. There's no symbology. It looks like there's just a face on there, but it's really hard to tell from this dash cam video.
Okay.
Some of the locals might know a little bit better. Maybe you can get some information from the sheriff. Probably shouldn't tell him you've seen this already, but if you want to, you can. He might show it to you. I just have to figure it out. So that is what you get from that video file. So you do have the deceased in the video, looking, you assume, healthy. Yeah, everything, it looks weird. Kind of curious why this is, obviously it's connected because that's the person you're looking for. You're very curious as to what in the hell is going on with any of it, but yeah.
Yep. This is a thing to ask about tomorrow when we officially get access to stuff.
What is the time between when this video happened and when Fred died?
Sure. So the timeline, let me go ahead and pull that up here. Deputy ran into this person on the 26th. Then, let's see, passed away on the 1st. So between the two periods of time is about, let's see, 6 days. 6 days.
Fascinating.
Definitely should go check out that area. I doubt any of the puking we heard would still be there, but we might see if we can get a hold of any of that or if they've found any of it to see if the person he came in contact with had these same heavy metal issues.
Yeah, we'll look over at Ancient Sage and be like, is puking a thing for like heavy metal poisoning?
Is puking a thing for heavy metal poisoning?
So what you would get is you actually have an autopsy report.
That's right.
So with what you would have gotten from that, you would have seen that there would have been notes in there and you would know what these mean, that the gut flora is different than it should be. Granted, the body being exposed to heavy metal poisoning is going to do weird stuff, but the gut flora is not the way it should be as far as the bacteria's consumption. Given that information, it is entirely possible that the flora could have been consuming things in a different way that would have caused the body to have to expel it. But it's not really any sort of indication of anything. It's just that weird side effect.
It might be connected, but also might not. So I don't know how helpful that is.
I mean, it's not helpful.
It's information. Perfect. So you've got a little bit of a thing here now. Agent Rosewater, are you going to dig further? Are you going to be satisfied with this for now?
There's part of me that really wants to dig further, but there's also like, don't do it. Don't like get into the system completely. Wait for tomorrow.
So, Agent Rosewater, how far did you get in?
Not very far. This was all just top level stuff. They were showing this video in their Teams chat.
Even I know you shouldn't do that.
But, I'm surprised that Agent Hemlock even knows what Teams is.
I mean, they made me learn what Teams is because that's how I check in on the office side of what's going on.
Of course.
I could go further, but they might realize that somebody's broken in, and if I can get access tomorrow, I don't have to break in, but also can set up an easy way in for myself.
Maybe wait for tomorrow then, and we'll just get set up at where we're staying tonight and get back at it tomorrow. It's like 10 o'clock. I think it's time that we should probably call it a night. We'll get more information with more people.
Yeah, that's what we need right now.
Yeah. I have discussion board posts due tonight, so we should probably go.
Oh, you didn't even get excused from all of that?
You never get excused from discussion. You never get excused from those.
Agent Sage was just excused from the need to attend the classes. The things outside are entirely still something that is, expected of you.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's go save Neem from
small town gossip.
Does it look like it looks like they're gossiping? Anyway.
It does, and as you get closer, you hear that Jason's talking about aliens now. Jason has started to talk about how, those aliens, they came over by Devil's Tower and all that stuff, and this whole town's filled with gossip. Is filled with superstition. I don't believe that. I only believe things that make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Keen mind sees the truth.
You are exactly right. See, you get me. Yeah, it's like. No offense to you for being part of the government, but sometimes they got those government listening devices and stuff, and I've seen some of the stuff like that. I know what's on the up and up, and again, it's no offense to you, of course.
Just say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah, I was like, listen, if you don't have to tell me that you're wiretapping me, but maybe you blink twice for yes and once for no, and that's when the rest of you walk up to the two of them speaking. Do you blink at them?
I do not. And I very pointedly don't blink as I turn my head and leave Pullman wondering.
Well, I think we've got what we can get tonight. Thanks so much for your help, Pullman. Another friendly pat on the shoulder. I've been there, buddy. I lost friends. And well, we're off to our motel at the Flatlands something, whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't really recognize what the place you said probably doesn't exist, but we're gonna find out soon what it is. So it's yeah, sure. Okay, I'll keep I'll let them know that you guys came in, and I'll have the room ready for you tomorrow. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be any different. It's going to be exactly the way you left it. There might be like a couple, those little cookie packets in there or something, but that's going to be about it.
If you could get us a whiteboard and a cork board, we'd appreciate it.
He's like, okay, we can try. I'll try. I'll talk to them in the morning.
And Jason, I think it's just the standard stuff. Super easy. We don't want to get in y'all's way.
Yeah, I got you. That's fine. We appreciate, what am I supposed to? We appreciate the help, which he's clearly has been rehearsed to say to federal officials when they've come in before. Probably when the EPA got there, the sheriff went around to everybody and told them the proper etiquette of dealing with federal agencies so they don't look too much into shit, just enough to solve the problem, not enough to make a problem, sort of thing. So, yeah, he's clearly been trained to speak to you in a way that would be disarming or not make you suspect anything, which obviously doesn't work, but he thinks it does.
No, but our goal is the same as yours. Apprehend the culprits responsible for the death of your friend and
keep the rest of the people safe.
It's very clear that Jason didn't assume that this was a criminal thing when you say that, but it doesn't say anything otherwise. Maybe you know something he doesn't. So he says, yeah, I'll see you all in the morning.
Night.
Yeah.
And Agent Hemlock walks back out to the vehicle and jumps in and starts it up and turns on the heater because now she's done with the tough girl act.
Yeah, need to have the car at 80 degrees. Give me my blanket. I know. All right, so you all pile back into the car. You can see Jason sitting behind the desk now, a little bit more astute, with the possibility that other federal officials could just waltz in the fucking door. That wasn't a thing that he has suspected. So you pull into the main town of Helena, and let's ask here. Do you all want to stay in a hotel, or do you want to stay in a motel? And that'll kind of depend on what your options are here.
And I think Delta Green would only shell out for motel.
Oh, they ain't paying for shit. This is all you.
Oh.
Yeah, they expect you to sleep in the fucking car.
They'll
reimburse you
much
later.
For money. It's going to be motel.
I'm going to say that that Agent Neem's day job comes with a certain amount of discretionary travel funds.
Okay, so motel it is. You ain't staying at you ain't going to be one of those people that like, I was smart, so I stayed at the Holiday Inn. Ain't nobody smart in that car. So you're going to go to a motel. Let's see. What is the name of that motel, y'all?
I want to come up with like some like real kitschy style motel. But I was just trying to think of a good name for it there for a minute.
Open
so like, what do I want the theme to be? This has to be a themed motel.
Of course it does. This is the middle of nowhere. They all have themes. It's the only way to keep yourself sane.
Something to do with aliens.
Yeah, I was like thinking like maybe it's got like a real just kitschy alien vibe.
Unidentified flying motel.
It's the
Blue Cloud Motel.
Blue Cloud, or it could be the.
And we're on the road we need to be on already.
It's the First Contact 6.
Ooh, that one's pretty
I like that.
I like that.
First Contact 6. All right. So you pull up to the First Contact 6, and if you've ever seen motels in small towns, they usually have a sign referring to their amenities. The sign says, "Hello, Earthlings. We come to you with free HBO." That's it. That's all that's on the sign.
I don't even have a pool.
No. Well, at least not according to the sign.
Yes. Walking up to the office, if they have an office and isn't just a window.
There is an office. It's lined and it's got some like tinfoil, like, stuff that's made to look like a spaceship, maybe in the corners and stuff like that. You see a younger kid, looks like he's probably 19, 20 years old. Clearly isn't as into the aesthetic of everything else that's there. This is just, a job. Sees you all come in and does look pretty damn tired. It's like, hello, how can I help you?
Yeah, we need 2 to 4 rooms, whatever you've got available for tonight.
He's like, well, let me see. We just got this is a big ritzy place for us, and lots of very high diplomats like staying here. He turns around, almost all the keys are on the hooks. There's like 2 missing out of the 16 rooms that are available. He's like, I've got 14 rooms available. How many do you want?
4.
Let's do 4. Yeah, we all need our own space. I'll front it. Y'all pay me back. And just throws her credit card down.
Sure. So it's 2017. You are expecting normal payment structures and things like that. That's not what you get. This kid pulls out, and we're going to take a little trip into the past here for those of you that might remember these. The old credit card slide machines,
Oh, God, I've had to use one
carbon paper.
The carbon paper. Oh, yeah. He takes that out, slaps that down on the table, puts that piece of paper across it, and you just feel the years as that thing just ka-chunk over the top of this and, takes down the copy. You remember those younger times when things were better and you didn't have to pay bills or go outside or have a job. But yeah, that's you get that maybe unwanted nostalgia thrown in your face.
Glad we only had to do that once, and swipes the keys and then walks back out to everybody else.
Sure. So, Agent Sage, have you ever seen one of those in real life?
Agent Sage and Abbigail, the player, have not seen that in real life and have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you have no idea what the fuck that dinosaur machine was that he just did. That thing looked like it was straight out of World War II or something. Like maybe the Red Baron had that before he made his last flight or some shit. Yeah, you have no clue what just happened, but it's fine. You're now going to leave the office, which is, it doesn't smell bad. It just doesn't smell good. And, that just kind of...
It smells like patchouli, and that's even worse than smelling bad.
And Axe body spray emanating from the individual who's behind the desk. I'm talking Phoenix, a can and a half sprayed onto this guy. He definitely is one of those people who didn't use deodorant after working out and just sprays himself with Axe and thinks that that's sufficient.
You're going to trigger a migraine just from sensory smell.
Listen, it's
from
fine.
the descriptions.
Yeah. So you're going to head back out, and you are just you head back out into the rain. You see the raindrop or the rain kind of sloughing off of the roof with that little bit of an overhang that goes over all the entrances, and you can see the line of doors with those orange bulbs every couple of rooms. You got 4 rooms that are right next to each other. You can decide whatever order you would like them to be in if it matters. So everybody has their own room. Are you all going to go to your own rooms? Are you going to all meet together? What would you like to do?
I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. And just hands out the other keys, grabs what little bag she has out of the back of the car, and just heads for the room she has the key for.
Yeah, I'm also going to head to my room. I'm not going to sleep anytime soon, but I just want to be alone.
Okay. Agent Sage, Agent Neem, are you both going to your rooms?
Yeah,
How you holding
I'm
up,
good.
Sage?
Oh, I'm good. Nothing much happening yet. How are you holding up?
I'm fine, pretty normal. Just remember, don't drink the water. Slaps you on the, side of the arm and goes to their room.
Good night.
So, as you all head towards your rooms, we'll say, for story's sake, you all open them at the same time so I can describe what you see. You open to a room that you can tell that this motel has been here for a long time. This probably started service in like the 60s or something. It's old. And a lot of the stuff in there is still that old. So as you pop open the door, the first thing that hits you is the smell of old, like cigarette soaked.
Oh yeah, the walls are absolutely yellow with the clinging smoke and tar.
So the ceiling is, the walls are old wood paneling that's about, a centimeter thick, the one that your uncle has in the basement to cover up the wall where the sump pump is behind. You could probably knock that down just by falling into that crap. That's exactly what you're looking at here. So that's what you get, is that smell. The light is on in there. There's just a little lamp next to a tube television. Some of you have remotes, some of you don't. You see two beds, look to be about twin-sized beds. They all have the disgusting kind of brown design duvet over the top of it. They all have one pillow. If you look towards the back of the room, you can see the sink is in the same room as everything else. And then looks like there's a bathroom off to the right. Welcome to your home for the foreseeable future. Is anybody checking out that free HBO?
Absolutely stripping the duvet cover off of the bed, because the sheets, I'm pretty sure they clean regularly. Duvet covers, no.
No. You'd be lucky if that thing got clean once a year. So, smart idea. So you rip that off. It's not stained. It's normal looking bed. Probably not the most comfortable thing in the world, but it's serviceable. It's better than the floor. So you all are kind of getting tucked in, and we're going to kind of go through everybody for how they are going into tonight. So Agent Hemlock, I believe you said you are going to just go straight to bed. Are you going to take a shower before?
After she strips off the duvet cover, checks everything, gonna go shower quick, get the day's grime off, and fall into the bed, still wrapped in just the towel.
Okay. In the towel?
Yep.
What, like on your head or
no, like wrapped around the body and just like fall into bed.
Ooh, isn't that gonna be
exhausted?
Well, I mean, that's fine. It just sounds uncomfortable. All right, well, you climb into the bed. If you're just gonna go straight to bed, I will say that you are one of the unique people in that because of your time in the service and everything else like that, when it's time to sleep, it's time to sleep. So you can just kind of shut things off and just drift off to sleep. You don't get any phone calls or anything tonight. You get to go to bed without any issues. Agent Sage, you, same room as everybody else. You have a remote. What would you like to do with your evening?
I'm going to get my discussion board posts done. Text in the family group chat the obligatory "I'm alive" text that they require because they were nervous about me moving away from school. And then I'm just going to go to bed. And she brought her own blanket, her little security blanket she still has, and she puts the noise machine app on her phone and gets settled in.
I will ask how you are getting on the internet. This place doesn't have Wi-Fi, so you can hotspot it.
I will hotspot it, which will drain her battery, but she'll have her phone plugged in, which overheats it. But she's just like, I need to get this done.
What's the subject for your post?
It's like asking about something really personal in her medical history, but she has to do her discussion board responses. So she has to be responding to other people and be like, I totally agree that having the common cold is really inconvenient, but she has to make that last 100 words. And so she just does that.
Oh, I know. I have a degree in philosophy. I know very well taking a point that should cover 2 lines and turning that into 4 pages. So I completely understand. That's fine. Yeah. So you do get through your postings, and you do also get a text message from David, just kind of checking in with you. It's weird, David. The 2 of you got engaged freshman year, and time has just kind of marched on. And the thing is that as you look at the text message from him, the clinical speak of the discussion posts is exactly the way that David speaks through text. Not sure if this was always the way that was, but you're kind of drawing the comparison in your head.
Yeah, she like responds in a like matching the tone of just like, I had a good day. Hope you had a good day too. We have got to make a plan to see each other soon, like that. But it's like, if you scroll past, that's like their daily message to each other is just like, we have to make a plan to see each other soon. Hope you had a good day.
Yeah. And David responds to you with, today was good. It was a hard day. Yeah, we should get coffee sometime. If you've looked back, it looks almost identical to things that he's posted before. He might have copied and pasted this even.
Yeah.
So that's your good night message from your fiance. And as you pack in for the night, we are going to flip over to Agent Neem. Agent Neem, you also have a remote in your room. Fancy. What would you like to do?
I'm going to do a brain dump, like take out the notebook, do a brain dump of all the gossip that I got from Pullman, and kind of sort out like, okay, well, at least now I know the lay of the land, like who people are, that kind of stuff, like making a little like basically an org chart.
Yeah, absolutely.
With notations on who we might find useful and, all that stuff that like, as soon as I put the pen down on this, I will not think of it again until tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's exactly what you do get. You get the sheriff's name, who's Leo Potter. You have Jason's information. You've gathered that the patrol captain's name is Chris Colbert, who you write Jason thinks is a dick next to it. You see Uriah Weiss, it's Weiss, which is a name that was mentioned to you before by the handler, who's a patrol sergeant. Jason mentioned them in passing. Maybe they were around for something. That's about it. You got information about the investigator that they have, who is Eric Hayes. You also know that Jason doesn't like him. There is a forensic scientist also who is part of the department, whose name is Chad Kingen. You also do get a bit of information about, he referred to a first name basis for the coroner, but didn't, you might not have expanded on, or I'm sorry, just last name. Coroner's name is Holsey. Holsey, which is the county coroner. The only information that you have as far as that goes is that they mentioned that Holsey was busy lately with all of this because part of the investigation with the EPA would have worked directly with what he found. yeah, you do get some information. You'll be a little bit more prepared as far as what you're dealing with internally within the Lewis and Clark County Sheriffs. You have developed a bit of a trusting relationship with Jason, enough so that he feels like he's able to speak to you about issues that he feels are relevant. Whether or not they actually are is something else entirely, but a little bit of trust goes a long way. So, asking him about the area, he just talks about some pharmaceutical companies that are in the area. Doesn't name any of them. There's also, he refers to something as, he talks about tourists wanting to go to the pit was something he mentioned. You have no fucking clue what that is, but he did mention that in passing. But it was just in passing. It wasn't a topic point. It was just mentioning that it was something that people like to go do. Yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the information that you got from him.
Fantastic. This is actually a lot more than I expected to get out of that guy. The other thing that I want to do is just make sure I have forefront of my mind who the militia groups are in this area.
Sure. So you do have that information. We have the biggest one that you identify is the Guardians of Liberty. That seems to be the biggest prominent one that you were able to find information about. At least it's prominent enough to warrant information about that you could find online. Because there's most wanted listings and things like that. Some of the members of this organization have been linked to different violent acts. Most of them are physical confrontations, not involving guns. A couple of them are. Nothing as far as if you were trying to be like, oh, it's them. Nothing as far as chemicals or anything else like that goes. Now, granted, there's not a ton of information on them because as far as the law is concerned, they're not necessarily doing anything illegal themselves because, they're not going out and attacking people. The individuals might have had run-ins, but as an organization, they have determined that that's not the case, at least for now. Or they haven't made enough of a splash to merit the eyes of the federal government on them. And the Lewis and Clark County don't really fuck with them because they don't want to run into issues with their officers that live in that area. So they respond when problems arise. They don't proactively go out and seek them, sort of thing. So that's what you get.
Fantastic. This sounds like a prime target to me. Mm-hmm. Can lay that groundwork later.
Are you going to take a shower?
I am.
Okay.
I'm going to, we'll call it a shower, but I take that whole, don't get the water on you, near you, don't consume, whatever, pretty seriously, because I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
So I actually use part of my ration of bottled water to take, a road shower.
Sure. You wet down a towel or something and use that. Yeah, I got you. Agent Sage, were you taking a shower in the actual shower or what? Are you doing anything?
No, she's a dry shampoo girly.
Okay, that's fine. It's relevant for our story, so it's fine. All right. So, Agent Neem, it sounds like you've gotten the information you want. Is there anything else you would like to accomplish with tonight?
No, I think that's about it. It's going to be a, brain off. Hope there's no more dreams. These walls are way too thin for that.
Sure. Well, we'll find out about your dreams soon. And lastly, Agent Rosewater, you stepped into your room. You do not have a remote control.
That's fine.
How are you spending your evening?
Does it have a like a little table and chair and stuff? No. You have two beds. You have a little end table that has a lamp on it.
If you open it up, it has a Bible.
All right, then I will, very similarly to Hemlock, I will take the duvet off of one of the beds, toss it on the other, and sort of post up on that bed, pull out my computer, hotspot my phone so I have Wi-Fi, catch up on everything, and just kind of veg out and lose myself to just my little thing, phone calls that I'm gonna make. Like I'm gonna call Simon at least and just be like, yeah, it was fine, it's the first day here, I got a lay of the land, what the problem is, and that's what the plan is anyways.
Sure. And I will say your conversation with Simon goes about the way it usually does. Simon is very caring and very attentive to the things that you've got going on, is a good listener. Isn't much else. It's kind of a teddy bear basically, and but with no claws.
Yep.
So he ends the conversation with I love you. Are you going to say it back?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. He doesn't read too much into how much you actually seem to mean it. But just okay. You have things on your mind. He's just going to attribute that to you having a tough day.
Yeah.
And as you are finishing everything up, you also get a text message from Micah, which basically is asking you where you are. Not how your day was, not how are you doing, not are you safe. Where are you?
My answer is out of town on a job.
Okay. Just gets back where?
It's like there's a moment where she thinks and she goes through everything she knows about Micah. And it is a weighing things in her mind, because there's like, if I don't tell him, he's probably going to trace my phone, which is really not as hard as it should be.
He does always seem to manage to show up in places even when you don't tell him where you are.
Yeah. And I will tell him the city I'm in, just being like, yeah, you're on a job. Somebody fucked a network real bad, and I gotta fix it.
You just get back, okay. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you actually going to try and sleep tonight?
I'll sleep at some point, but it's never like I'm actively trying to sleep. It's I fall asleep at some point.
Sure. Do you take a shower?
No, I don't.
Okay. Constance, you're the only one who showered. Everybody else is going to, not smell too bad. We had some road showers in there. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, excellent. As you all bed down for the evening, your minds may be swimming with the information that you've gotten, maybe wondering what in the fuck is going on with any of this. That's where we will close for our evening tonight. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our first session of Delta Green Extremophilia. I had a fantastic time with this fantastic cast. You will soon see our second episode coming out. So do stay tuned for that. And I would like to go ahead and give the cast a chance to introduce themselves and give a little bit of information about them, as well as where we can find more about them if, you all want to find out. So we will go ahead and start with Pooja.
Hello, I have been, as it was said, Pooja, playing Agent Neem, and you can find me on the internet as Forgotten Saves. If you'd like to hear me play more TTRPGs, some horror, some not, more poor than not, you can find me in the back catalog of Happy Jack's RPG and the podcast 12-Sided Stories.
Excellent. And also joining us and playing the wonderful Agent Sage, we have Abbigail.
Hi, I'm Abigail the Nerd, playing Agent Sage, and you can find me on, I think, everything. I think all socials. I think I've covered them all under Abigail the Nerd. That's Abigail with 2 B's, and then you can check out the campaigns and stuff I'm in at the time.
Excellent. And playing Agent Hemlock, we have the wonderful and tough Killian.
Hi, you can find me all over the internet at Darth Surrealish. And you can find me over on my channel, Rainbows and Razor Blades Productions, R&R Productions on Twitch. Doing some fun stuff over there, and check my socials for all of the other things I have going on.
Excellent. And last but certainly not least, I am sure you recognize her before. If not, you can attribute all of our amazing sound design with some of our bigger shows to her. It is Aubrey.
Hello. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Mad Queen Cosplay or the Mad Queen, because I managed to snag that on the Blue Skies. And I'm very excited about that. And yeah, doing a bajillion things over here at Queen's Court, do audio stuff and play in a bunch of stuff. You see my face all over in Queen's Court. And you also check out Goblets and Gays, because that's the other main place I do things, and we've got something going on, I'm sure.
Excellent. And I have been Alex, also from Queen's Court Games, joining you this evening. You can find me online pretty much everywhere as Alex the DM 89. Most of what I am going to do is going to be here with Queen's Court, though. So if you've liked what I've done here, you can check out some other stuff that I am in. Also, give a look at some of our other shows. We have some fantastic ones out there. I would also recommend we do have a Patreon. So if you like what we do and you want to give us a little bit of support, I would recommend signing up for it. Signing up for it does also give you a few perks. We have some Patreon exclusive episodes, artwork, all sorts of other little bonuses and gifts and things like that you can get. I highly recommend it. So again, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. And thank you so much to my wonderful cast. We will see you next time. Bye.